My phone lit up like a grenade in the dark, and with one tap, my entire world exploded. 10 years of my life, gone in a single text. You're fired, Elena. Effective immediately. I'm giving your job to my buddy, Nate. I was sitting in a sea of 50,000 screaming fans at a concert in Miami, the air thick with sweat and music, when my boss decided to torch my career. And the worst part? I should have seen it coming. My name is Elena Marquez. I'm 36, and until 30 seconds ago, I was the head of communications for Horizon Biotech, a company I dragged out of obscurity and turned into a titan in the medical tech world. For a decade, I poured my soul into that place, building trust with clients, crafting campaigns that saved lives, and dodging crises that could have buried us. My work wasn't just a job. It was my identity. Every press release I wrote, every handshake I sealed, every late-night strategy session. It was me proving I belonged. That night, I was in the VIP section of the biggest concert in Miami. A thank you from a board member named Vivian Cole. She was swaying to the music, her sequined dress catching the stage lights while I clutched my phone, rereading the text from my boss, Marcus Reed. Too emotional for leadership, he'd written. Me, emotional. The woman who'd turned a product recall into a PR triumph, who'd convinced regulators to trust us after a lab scandal, who'd landed us on the cover of TechMed Journal. Emotional. I could still hear Marcus's voice from last month, sneering across a conference table. Elena, you're too invested. Nate's got a cooler head. Nate, his frat brother. A guy whose biggest win was a viral TikTok for a vape shop. Marcus had been shoving Nate at me for months, demanding I create a role for him in my department. I refused. Not because I was stubborn, but because my clients, hospitals, research labs, families counting on our tech, deserved better than an amateur playing dress-up. The stadium roared as the music swelled, but I was drowning in my own pulse. Vivian leaned over, her voice barely cutting through the noise. Elena, you okay? You look pale. I handed her my phone, my hands shaking like I'd just run a marathon. She read the text, and her face twisted. First confusion, then rage. He fired you now? During this? She said, waving at the dazzling stage. I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. Vivian wasn't just any board member. She'd seen me work miracles, securing $50 million in contracts, navigating a whistleblower scandal without a single headline, building a network of clients who'd follow me to the ends of the earth. Clients like Dr. Leena Patel, who ran a pediatric hospital chain and only signed with Horizon because I promised her campaign would save kids' lives, or the Carter Research Group, whose groundbreaking Alzheimer's study relied on my media strategy to secure funding. Those contracts? They weren't with Horizon. They were with me. Marcus didn't get that. To him, I was just a glorified typist, someone who talked too much at meetings. He hated that I reported to the CEO, not him. Hated that I wouldn't bend when he tried to funnel company money into his buddy's pet projects, like sponsoring his yacht club's charity gala. It's networking, Elena, he'd said, his eyes cold. You wouldn't understand. Oh, I understood. I understood he wanted a puppet, and Nate was perfect for the role, loyal, clueless, and cheap. By the time the concert ended, my phone was buzzing with emails. One from HR, cold as a morgue. Return all company property by Monday. Another from Marcus, sent to the entire staff. Please welcome Nate Collins as your new communications lead. Thank you, Elena, for your service. Service. Like I'd been fetching his coffee for a decade instead of building an empire. Sunday was a blur of panic. My clients were calling, their voices sharp with worry. Elena, is it true? Who's this Nate guy? Dr. Patel's words hit like a punch. If you're not running my campaign, we're out. Our contract is with you. By Monday morning, 3 major clients, worth 60% of Horizon's revenue, were threatening to walk. I documented every call, every email, every crack in the foundation Marcus had just blown apart. Vivian called an emergency board meeting, and I walked into Horizon's headquarters like a soldier heading to war. My office was already being gutted, my awards boxed up, my photos gone, my desk littered with Nate's energy drinks. I stood in that conference room, facing 7 board members, and laid it all bare. Marcus fired me without warning, I said, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. He didn't check the contracts. He didn't consult the board. And now, $60 million in revenue is at risk because he thought his buddy could do my job. Marcus sat there, his smirk fading as Vivian slid my 50-page handover document across the table. This, she said, is what Elena built. Can Nate replicate it? The room went silent. Marcus stammered, Nate's a quick learner. But the CEO, Rachel Kwan, wasn't having it. You didn't know about the client clauses, did you? She asked. Marcus's silence was louder than the concert crowd. That meeting changed everything. I won't spoil the ending. You'll have to wait for part 2 to see how it played out. But standing there, watching Marcus's house of cards collapse, I realized something. My worth isn't tied to a job title or a corner office. It's in the trust I built, the lives I touched, the battles I fought. Sometimes, you don't see the knife until it's already in your back, but you can still pull it out and fight. Have you ever had your world turned upside down by someone's betrayal? Drop your story in the comments. I read every one. Hit that like button if you felt this, and subscribe for part 2, because this isn't over, not by a long shot.